Hello and welcome to Term 2 Prepping for Success Library 101. The Prepping for Success series is aimed at getting key points of information out to our wonderful students at key points during the academic calendar. I would also like to acknowledge the Bedigal people, who are the traditional custodians of the land here at Kensington campus, and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. So without further ado, I will pass over to the wonderful Gemma, who will commence our workshop today on Library 101.
Thanks, Paul. Hi, everyone. I'm Gemma. Welcome to Prepping for Success Library 101. So we're running this session to help you get started with using the library and to let you know that we're here to support you this term and beyond. And in case you need convincing that the library is important for your studies, research does show a strong correlation between students' grades and their use of library resources. Next slide. Thanks, Paul. So I'm joined today by my colleague Samantha. We work in the library buildings at the help zones and also online to answer your questions and assist you with using the library. In this session, we will be giving more details on how to search for library resources, the services we offer, ways to contact us, and information about our upcoming events. Any questions you have during the session can be posted to the Q&A. They will be answered at the end of my presentation during the Q&A session. Also, please keep an eye on the chat as Samantha will be posting some useful links for you throughout my presentation. Okay, next slide, please. So firstly, I'll give you a brief rundown of the UNSW libraries. The main library is on the upper half of the Kensington campus. It's a tall tower with UNSW written on top. Students have access to 7 floors, which hold our book collection, study areas, bookable desks and computers, and laptops for short loans. Inside the main library foyer, you will find the Student Nucleus. Now, this is where you go if you're on campus and you need to get your ID card or talk about your enrolment. Your ID card is also your library and print card. All our libraries have print, scan, and copy machines. You can load printing credit to your card at each library and also use your ID card to log into the printer and release your documents. If you run into printing issues, the main library has a print service desk. The second Sydney library is the Law Library. That's on Lower Campus at the Anzac Parade end of the Kensington campus, inside the law building. And as the name suggests, this library holds the law book collection. Law also has bookable PC desks and short loan laptops. If you're not a law student, you're still welcome to use the desk spaces and borrow books from the law collection. The third Sydney library is the Paddington Library, and this is at the Art and Design campus in Paddington. It has the Art and Design book collection. It has study spaces and desktop computers. And as with the Law Library, even if you're not an arts and design student, you can still study at Paddington and borrow from the collection. All our libraries are available to all our students. There is also a branch of UNSW Library in Canberra. They work separately to us, but you can access some of their resources by placing a request, which I will explain in more detail soon. So at this point in time, with COVID-19 restrictions, only current UNSW students, staff, and registered members may use our campus libraries. We ask that you have your student ID card with you while you're on campus. You'll show this to the security guard managing the check-ins at the door. And as I mentioned, your ID card is your library card, so you can use this to borrow. We have a video to play now that demonstrates how your ID card helps you to get into the building, borrow a laptop, and also borrow a book. Thanks, Paul, if you could play that video. Okay, so that video was shot at the main library, in case you haven't visited us yet. With COVID-19, seating has been arranged to help you maintain physical distancing at all the UNSW libraries. Regarding face masks, while they're not mandatory on UNSW campuses, the library is following advice from New South Wales Health, and we recommend that you wear masks in any situation where you can't physically distance. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so now I'm going to begin a live demonstration and take you through our website and using our services and spaces. So I'll start screen sharing now, and I'm going to turn off my camera while I run through the website. Thanks. Okay, so for our live demonstration, we're starting at the UNSW library website. So that's library.unsw.edu.au. If you aren't coming to campus, the library website is going to be your gateway to all the library services and resources that you need to study from home. It's a great idea to bookmark this page so that you can find it easily when you need to. It's your quickest way to find library news, library help, and access our resources. So first, I'll point out the banner. This banner changes throughout the term. It always has useful current information. So for example, we have our new page, our Welcome to UNSW Library page. Please take some time to have a look at this after the session. We've put together a collection of links that will help you get started with using the library in term 2. So back to the home page. I also encourage you to explore the study tab. So that's this one here, and this has been put together for our students. In the study tab, there's lots of in-depth information about our resources and services. And you can also access our subject guides here. These subject guides link you to the best resources for your area of study, including the best journals and databases. So you might like to come and have a look and select one of the subject guides that's suitable for your course. So back to the homepage again, and we'll scroll down. Under the banner, we have our opening hours. So these are the hours that our physical libraries are opened, and also the times that the staff are available to help you, both face-to-face and online. As you can see, today's hours for main library are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. with staff available from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Law library is open 24/7. To find information ahead of time, you can click into the opening hours section and you can check ahead so you don't show up to the library on a day when we're closed. The opening hours information is split by library, and it currently shows the opening hours for the entire year. So if you want to plan ahead, you can see that we have extended hours during study and exam periods. So now I'll head back to the home page. So if you are coming to the library this term, you can book study desks and study rooms up to 2 weeks in advance through this Book a Space portal. You select your library and you'll see there's a variety of spaces. You can choose your level or you can just see everything that's available. And then we've got desktop computers, study desks, study pods, study rooms, media booths, and some bookable areas in the postgraduate study lounge on level 4. So particularly the study rooms have been very popular with students this year. They can only be used by one person at the moment, but they're a really great place to have some privacy if you need to do any online presentations or online exams for your courses. Okay, I'll jump out now. So of course you don't need to make any bookings to study in the library. However, it's a really good option to know about if you like the certainty of having a particular space reserved. And the book a space link should be in the chat now. Next, I'd like to show you your My Library account, and you can access this through the My Library link here. So the first thing to do is to sign in. You need to sign in using the format zid@ad.unsw.edu.au. This is the same for your Moodle and your UNSW email. So once you've signed in, you can view your loans, you can renew your loans, and you can view your requests and other information. So I'll jump into my loans here. I can see this book is due tomorrow, but I'd like to renew it. So all I need to do is click the renew button here. And then I've been able to renew that book. If you're ever unable to renew a loan and you'd like to, just get in touch with us. You can start a chat, or you can call us or visit us at the help zone, and we'll explain why you can't renew the item, or we might be able to help you as well. Okay, so back to the home page. Next, I'm going to take you into the library collection. And the library collection is where you can search for your course resources and also do research for your assignments. So the first thing to do again is to make sure you're signed in. Now, because I already signed into my library account, my name is displaying in the top right-hand corner, and this indicates that I don't need to sign in again. Signing in just reduces the chance that you'll hit paywalls when you're trying to access our subscription resources from off campus. It also allows you to request items and to save items to your favorites account, which are all personalized for you. So I'll show you more on requesting and your favorites soon. So to get started, if you have the title of a book, the name of an author, the name of a database, or the name of a journal, you might even have an assignment topic to research. All you need to do is to type it into this search bar where it says search the library collection. And then you'll be able to find out if we hold that resource. Initially, you might be looking at resources that your lecturer has given you in Moodle. So you might have a reading list in Moodle. And sometimes on that reading list, they will link you straight through to the item in our collection. But other times you may have to come here and search for them yourself. So I'm going to show you some examples of different searches today, and we will be running more workshops throughout the term as you start getting into your assignments. For our first example, we'll search for a physical book, and then we'll move into searching for electronic resources that you can use from home. So if you do come to campus, you can find print books on the shelf and you can borrow them. But first you need to search the collection to find the location of the item and the call number. So let's say I know the title of my course textbook. I'm going to type it into the search bar. And hit the search icon. Okay, so the record that I was looking for is the first result. And I can see this is a print book. You can always tell by the resource indicator above the title. So we've got print books, and then the results will also have different resource types. So you might have articles and reviews, lots of different types. So I can see the location information. It's available at Main Library Level 3 and other locations. So I'll click in here for more information. So this information tells me that there are 7 copies available at Main Library on Level 3, and each copy will have a different call number printed on the spine, and this is what you use to find the book on the shelf. If you don't quite know about call numbers or you need help finding a book, either online or on the shelf, you can ask the staff at the help zones, or you can also start a library chat to get help from library staff online. The chat icon here will usually be on the right-hand side of any web page, any library web page that you're using. So it's a great way to get real-time help if you're stuck searching. And when it comes to borrowing, there is information about your borrowing rights on the library website. Samantha will post a link to further information in the chat, but as a general guide, standard items can be borrowed for 4 weeks by undergraduates and for 6 months by postgraduates. Books on a course reading list are in high demand and can be borrowed for 1 week. So those high demand course books will usually have a course icon in the record, and you can see this one has the course icon. So it will usually be a 1 week loan. At each of our libraries, you'll also find a request shelf. We offer a service which allows you to request books that are out on loan or held at another campus. And because I'm signed in, I can see the request form link here. This link won't display until you sign in. And this allows you to request an item to be delivered to your campus. So as this book is held at Maine, I'll open the request form and I have the option to transfer it to Paddington or to Canberra. I can't request it for pickup at the main library because it's already held at the main library. So I just need to visit the main library and locate it on the shelf using the call number. If you do place requests, the library will let you know when the book is ready for you with an email to your UNSW address. So if you aren't coming to campus this term, there is another way to get print books if there's no electronic alternative. We have this off-campus borrowers service, and this is for students who are studying entirely off campus. They can register with the library to have books posted to them within Australia. We'll mail the item to you, but then you'll be responsible for the return postage. We'll post a link with further information in the chat, so please read the information to decide if this is suitable for you before registering. Okay, now back to searching. Our next search will be for an ebook to use online. For this example, I'll type in the title of a book. And I'm also going to add the author's surname to the end. So this is a good tip. What it does is it makes sure that more relevant results will come to the top of your search results. So it just makes it easier to find what you're looking for. Okay, I can see the book I was looking for here. And I can see we have a few different versions. So this is an ebook. I can see that because of the resource icon at the top of the title. And I can click into the different versions to see what else the library holds. So the library has, in the ebook, we have the 5th edition and the 6th edition. So to access the 6th edition, I'll click this Check Online Access button. And then I can see the full text is available through this ebooks collection. If I click here, the book will open. I need to refresh. If you're at home, you might need to sign in at this point, and then you'll be given access to the book. So each ebook's a little bit different. In this case, you can read this book online. You're not able to download the entire book. In some cases, you may be able to. We have 3 copies of this book available in the electronic format. So usually this means that 3 people can be online reading the book at the same time. If you do try and access a book and you can't get into the online copy, we recommend just coming back in half an hour or so because the other users will probably have dropped off by then. This book allows you to download up to 31 pages. So you can save those 31 pages to your computer and access them offline. To read the book online, you'll click in and you can see the text in the right-hand side panel, and you can use the left-hand side panel to navigate through the book you might need to skip ahead to your reading. So each one will be slightly different, but as an example, that's how access to an ebook works. So now we'll head back to our searching. And the next search will be for a journal article. So you might need to read journal articles for your assignments, or you might have some course readings that you've been assigned. So the best way to get started with searching for articles is by typing the article title into the search bar. In this case, I'm looking for an article called University Students' Use of Music for Learning and Wellbeing. So I'll run the search. And again, you can see I've got a mix of results. So I'm going to refine this down further. If you had an assignment, your lecturer might ask you for peer-reviewed information. So you can filter on peer-reviewed journals here. You can also filter on resource type, so I'll filter on articles only. And I've also been asked to find current information. So I can update the date, and this will mean that I don't receive any results that were published before 2018. I can apply those filters, and then my results are more relevant for what I'm looking for. Some of our articles will have this View PDF link, and it's a great shortcut because it means you don't need to click all the way into the record. You can just click the View PDF button, and the PDF will open in a new tab, and you can download that to your computer. Most of our articles are available electronically, so there's lots of information for all students studying online. You can also save these results if you'd like to come back to them later. So you might not have time initially to go through every article, but if you hit this star, it will save the record to your favorites account, and then you can come back and access it later. So to access the favorites, up here you've got your My Favorites link. So you can click here, and then this will take you to your personalized favorites account and allow you to access articles or books or ebooks that you've saved before. You just need to click in again. Okay, and finally, I'd like to demonstrate a topic search. So to find information on a topic, let's use an example of social media. I can start by typing my keywords into the search bar and running the search. Okay, so again, I can refine on the left-hand side. So perhaps I'm just looking for ebooks and articles. Okay, so now I've applied those filters, and I can then lock those filters into place using this Remember All Filters button. So what this lets me do is to add on a second keyword, and I won't need to re-refine my results. So I can add in a second keyword, and this will help me find ebooks and articles that cover the topics social media and illness. And I'll run that search. So if this is an assignment search that you'll need to come back to later, what you can do is you can save the search. So I can click here, and that will save the search to my favorites. So that means I can go into my favorites and run it again. You can also turn on notifications for a search, and that means that you'll receive emails when the collection receives new resources that fit your search. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the library homepage and explain our help options for you. So as a starting point, when you're looking for help, you do have the option to search for library information through the library search. So as an example, if you're looking for past exam papers, you can type that into the search bar. And then the library website search is a little bit different to the collection search. It pulls in results from both the collection and the website. So in this case, I can see on the right-hand side, I've got some hits on the website. So I'll click into the top answers here. And you can see this information deals with how to find past exam papers in the library collection. It gives you directions for searching for course codes in the library collection to find past exam papers. So another way to find help, of course, is to contact us. And if you jump into the help icon here, there's a few different ways you can do that. We have our phone number here, so you can contact us during staffed hours over the phone, so 9 AM to 6 PM, Monday to Friday. We also have our library chat, which I pointed out as we were going through the web pages. And just to clarify, the library chat is staffed by real library staff, not bots. So you'll be speaking to a real team member and we can help you in real time. Outside of staffed hours, you can submit an ask a question form. And using this form, you just need to fill in your details, explain your issue as best you can, and then we'll get back to you as soon as we can during staffed hours. If you have a question about research, you might need help getting started with research for an assignment. You can meet with our academic librarians and book an appointment through the Expert on Demand service. To book an appointment, you select your faculty and your date, and then you can choose an appointment time. And you'll see these are the times for today, and you can see there are plenty of appointments available, and I can get one almost straight away. You can meet with the librarians over Teams meeting, phone, or they can email you at your appointment time. So that service is highly recommended for finding quality academic resources. The links for these help services will be added to the chat. Okay, so we'll now end the live demonstration and go back to the PowerPoint slides. Thanks, Paul. Next slide, please. Okay, so our social media is another way for you to stay updated on any news and changes in the library. Please feel free to connect with us through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. All the social links will be in the chat now. And we will also post the link to the UNSW Sydney WeChat. Next slide, please. If you're looking for more library orientation events, we do have a lot happening in Term 2. We have guided tours of Main and Law Library running during O Week and Week 1. The times are advertised on our What's On page, so if you're interested, please meet us on time at the help zone. And if you plan to attend, we encourage you to wear masks. We have a virtual treasure hunt now available for students to complete online. The QR code to the treasure hunt is on the slides and there will be a link in the chat. So this has been designed as a fun way to learn how to access our collection and services. When you complete the hunt, you can submit your details to go in the running for a prize. We also have our Study Hack series. So the library and the academic services team have worked together to develop the Study Hack series. This is a series of workshops that will run throughout the term from week 1. They're designed to help you with skills such as advanced library research, note-taking, getting started with assignments, referencing, and report writing. So please check out the What's On and Study Hacks pages to browse through these events at your own pace. Okay, thanks for listening. That's the end of our content. Let's move to the next slide and start the Q&A. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Gemma. That was amazing. Definitely gave me a lot of insight into how to use the library. So I'd like to invite the audience to hop over onto the chat. So that's the speech bubble with a question mark in it. And feel free to shoot us some questions for our wonderful team here. So just a quick question. In terms of library tours, I know that today's quite late, but if some of the students are onshore and they want to come onto campus and do a library tour with your team, what times and how do they go about booking?
Sure. Well, we're not booking for library tours this term, so you can just show up and join the tour. The main library tours, the final one today was at 3 p.m, but we do have some more tomorrow, 11 a.m, 1 p.m, and 3 p.m. from the main library help zone. There's also one per day at Law Library, and this will be for O week and week 1. Okay, so the dates and times, they're all on the What's On page. Samantha has posted the link to the chat.
Brilliant, thank you so much. I know that we saw that wonderful video. There was a colleague of yours returning a book, but for again, some of our students that are based onshore, what's the process in taking out and returning a book in person?
Sure, great question. So for borrowing, you borrow using your student ID card. That's your library card. Once you locate the book on the shelf, you borrow at we have self-check machines where you can just scan your card and check the book onto your account. Then you can check your loan and your due dates through your My Library account. I demonstrated the My Library account during the presentation. When you're ready to return the book, each library has a returns chute. So for example, the main library has a returns box just inside the front of the main library on level 2. Outside of library hours, we also have an after hours chute around the back of the library. So same with the Law Library, there's an after hours chute outside the Law Library and one inside, and same with Paddington Library.
Brilliant. So some questions for some of our students that are studying online remotely and international students currently based offshore. So in terms of accessing the library resources online, how do they go about accessing the various resources online?
Great question. There'll be a few ways. So often through the Moodle, they'll have their reading list and their lecturer may have linked them to the resources they need to read. Sometimes they can just download these through the reading list or follow the links. Some of the links will bring you into the library collection. So especially if you're on campus, it's really important to sign in because that will, when you go to access resources off campus, that will just prevent you from hitting the paywalls. So it means the publishers know that you're an authorised UNSW student and they will give you access to those resources. We have a few tools that can help students off campus access online resources. We have a library VPN. So if you are having a lot of trouble and hitting a lot of paywalls, you can download the UNSW library VPN. It'd be great if Samantha could put a link. We have a web page with lots of tips and tricks for online students and online access to resources. And if you are having trouble accessing resources from overseas, it's best just to get in touch with us and give us as much detail as you can, and we'll try and troubleshoot that for you. But yeah, as a starting point, going through the library collection and signing in and then using the VPN if you're having trouble. That's just a few ways to make it a bit easier.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for that, Gemma. A quick question that's just popped through. In terms of searching for articles, is that journal articles only?
Well, it depends what you're looking for. I suppose, journal articles are a very popular academic resource for assignments and for study. You can also, if you're looking for, we have newspapers, if that's what the student's asking about. We do have access to newspaper articles as well. The way to find those would be to type the newspaper name into the collection, and then you could enter our newspaper subscription through the collection, and you'll be able to find articles that you need. Yeah, again, it really depends what you're looking for, and if you do get stuck, it's always just best to jump on the chat or get in touch with us, and we can help you find what you need to find.
Brilliant. We've got lots of questions coming in about the Study Hacks series. So I know the Study Hacks series sits under the Student Success workshops, and if students want to access those Study Hacks workshops, it's probably the best way is just to hit into the UNSW webpage, Study Hacks under search, and then all of the content will be available.
That's right. So that Study Hacks webpage, that's a new website that's been set up this term, and that lists all the Study Hacks workshops that are available for term 2. Each workshop will have a link, and you'll be able to book through the Eventbrite booking system. So if you are interested, do book in. I believe most of them will be recorded. So if you're not able to make it, if you have registered, hopefully they can send out the recording. So it's always, as a first step, it's best to register, even if you think you might not be able to make it on the day. They're all online, so it's easier for off-campus and on-campus students to attend.
Brilliant. That feeds a nice segue actually with the recordings into today. Some of the students are wondering if we're recording today's session. So yes, we absolutely are, and the intention is to house this on the website at some point so that you'll be able to revisit it to get today's information. Just a quick question that's popped through. In terms of the study areas, I understand you've got lots of exciting study areas, including those futuristic looking booths. So how do students go about booking those study spaces, Gemma?
Sure, well, not all of them are bookable. A few of them are. So for example, we set aside a few desks and a few study rooms for people to book. All the bookings are through the library website. So that was I did jump during my presentation, I did jump into the Book a Space portal, and that's on the library website on the homepage under the banner. So once they jump into the Book a Space portal, they'll be able to see all the bookable spaces and all the times that they're available as well.
Brilliant. In terms of accessing newspaper articles, how do students go about accessing newspaper articles?
Yep, great question. So there's a couple of ways. We do have a web page that explains some of the newspaper access that we have, but really, as with all resources, the best way to start is to search for the newspaper title. So for example, would you like me to screen share an example?
Sure, if you don't mind. Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, I'm happy to screen share an example. So I'll go back into the library website. Okay, so I'm going to head back into the library collection. And a popular one we get asked about all the time is the Australian Financial Review. So to start the search, I start with the title of the newspaper. And then you can use the filters on the left-hand side. you can narrow it down to newspaper. Okay, and this is what I was looking for. So we have two versions of the financial review. We have a microform version. This is only available, you need to come to campus. It's a physical form of newspaper. It's more likely that students will be wanting to access the online version. So we'll jump into the record, check online access, and I can see courses have assigned this newspaper, so I think this will be relevant for lots of students. We have access to the financial review through two databases, ProQuest Central and Factiva. So when you're looking, you can just open, they each have different access. So in ProQuest, we have articles from 2013. And in Factiva, we have articles from 1987. So it's a matter of signing into the collection, opening the database, and then running a search. So you can search, by article title, if you know, by the writer, by the author. You can also filter on certain issues as well. So that's just a pretty brief overview of how to access the newspapers. Don't forget, you've got the chat and you've also got the expert on demand appointments, and they can give you more in-depth tips for searching within the databases as well. Okay, so I'll just jump out now. I hope that answered the question.
Sure, it did. Just another question that's come through. In terms of using the library, do you need a student ID card to access the library?
Well, you need to be a student. At the moment, we're only open for current UNSW students and staff. We do ask you to bring your student card because of COVID, each library has a security guard on the front door and they're managing check-ins. So the first thing they'll be asking for is to see your student ID card, because that proves you're a current student of UNSW. And they'll be asking you to check in through our QR code as well for contact tracing. So if you are a student and you don't have a card yet, we recommend you come in and get one as soon as possible from the Student Nucleus. That's located in the foyer of the main library. So if you forgot your card one day, for example, you can still use the library. The security guard may ask you to sign into your Moodle or prove you're a current student another way. Okay.
Brilliant, thank you. Another question. Okay. In terms of using ebooks, can you save it so that you can go back to it for reference?
That's a great question. You can save the ebook to your favorites. Would you like me to demonstrate that again?
Sorry, say that again.
Oh, you can save it to your favorites account. Would you like me to demonstrate that again?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yep, sure. Okay, so I'll jump back in. I'll just rerun the search for the ebook.
Sure.
So to save the books, you do need to be signed in so that the record goes into your personalized favorites account. And that means it's accessible again, even if you log out and your session, when you come back, it'll still be sitting there for you. So yeah, make sure you sign in. And then, so this is an ebook. What I can do, for example, if the student's after the most current edition, this particular record can be added to their favorites. So if they add it to their favorites, basically what that means is they can come back to the library website at a later date. So next time they're in the collection, they can hop straight back into the favorites. and it will be sitting there for them in their saved records, and they can just they can go back in whenever they want to. So they'll be able to click through the record again and go back into the ebook. So that's how the ebooks work. You wouldn't be saving this tab. You'd be saving it through the library collection, because you need to be logged in to access this tab. So yeah, it's best to save it through the library collection record that way. Another option is in the record information. You can create a permalink, so you might want to email that to yourself or email it to one of your fellow students. And this link, if you click this link, it will bring you back in through the collection, and it will give you more seamless access to the book. So you'll be prompted to log in, and then you'll be able to click through to the book again. So they're the main ways to come back later and access books that you've saved.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Gemma. Another question that's come through. What is a DOI/PMID lookup?
Okay, great question. So I can see you must have been looking on the library collection. So this is a new feature that we have. So each journal article has an article ID. So a DOI, it's a form of ID. So articles will have unique identifiers, and sometimes in a reference list or in a citation, the article DOI will be listed. So it's just another way to search for an article. A PMID, it's a Pubmed ID, so it's the same sort of thing, it's a different type of document identifier. And if you click in through that link, if you do have a DOI or a Pubmed ID, you can search in this search bar, and you'll be able to see if we have access to that article through our subscriptions. Okay, so that it is a really handy tool. It's a new feature that we've got on the library collection website this term.
Thanks once again. One other quick question that's come through. What happens if you're late returning a book, or how long do you get to return books? Okay,
great question. It really depends on the book. We have our standard loan items. So these are just sort of normal books. Undergraduates can borrow these books for 4 weeks, and then they can renew them for another 3 4-week periods. So that's up to 16 weeks. For postgraduates, for standard items, they get a 6-month loan initially, and they can renew that another 3 times, up to 2 years, as long as they're still a student. So you do get quite long loans. Items can be recalled at any time. So even if you did have that 6-month loan, if another student requests the book, it will be recalled from you, and your due date will shorten. You'll have 7 days to return the book. So these standard items, if they're not recalled and they're not on course lists, you will have a period of time before you start to accrue fines. So it's usually 30 days. And then at that point, there will be fines. Books that are in high demand, like the course list items, and we also have a high use collection, which is a 2-hour loans. Those items, they'll accrue fines quicker if they're not returned. And any item that has been recalled, you'll be given 7 days to return it. And if you don't return it within the 7 days, it will start to accrue daily fines. Yeah, so it's always good if you can't return the book, please get in touch with us before it falls overdue, because we may be able to help you out. We may be able to renew it or extend the date, or give you some other options. So yeah, it's best just to approach us. We're really friendly. Don't be worried, and hopefully we can come to a solution.
Brilliant. And the good news is you've got plenty of time to return it, and lots of notifications to give you a heads up to return it. So that's great. In terms of ebooks or e-journals, do students have to return them, or what's the system in terms of the both of those?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's a little bit different because you don't need to borrow the electronic resources. So you're not really checking them out like you would a physical book. You're really just going in and you're just accessing them online in real time. So you don't need to borrow them or return them. You just access them as you need to. The main hurdle will be I did show that example of the ebook that we had 3 copies of the electronic book. So perhaps if 3 students were already in the book using it, you may not get access immediately. You may need to come back in half an hour or an hour when one of those students has dropped off. But they're the main hurdles you'll face. Yeah, you don't need to borrow or return electronic items.
Fantastic. Just opening up, any other questions for our audience? It's gone silent, so it sounds like you've comprehensively covered all of the topics today for our attendees. So yeah, I'd like to thank you. Fantastic job today, Gemma. That was really insightful for both myself and I'm sure our attendees. I'd also like to thank the attendees for coming along to today's session. Just a heads up that Prepping for Success and Study Hacks are running additional workshops both in O Week and weeks 1 to 6 in T2. So feel free to type in Prepping for Success or Study Hacks into the webpage at UNSW and you'll be able to find all of the information on those workshops. Otherwise, I'll head towards the close of today. Just a quick note that I'll be sending some evaluations out to our wonderful students that participated today. I know nobody really likes filling in surveys, however, it's really data-rich information for us and it helps us tweak the model so that the content is relevant and you're really getting what you need in terms of information and advice moving forwards. So, thank you very much. We'll close today and I hope you have a wonderful O Week.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.